how do you navigate life? Because all of those things is going to happen. Life is going to be happen. And the other thing is we all still have a call. For those of us, I'm going to say who have a call, and for those of you who are purpose driven. So if you are a female entrepreneur, a female who's 40 plus, who have a calling, who is purpose driven, this is for you. Yes, this is for you because of the fact we are not going to go through life, believe me. We're not going to go through life without any detours, without becoming disengaged. And that can be pretty much disengaged is more on a personal level. However, there can be external forces that contribute to that, that we become, that there are distractions and disruptions in our life. And I really, 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 really want to talk about how do you navigate that? You all are able to navigate that, but navigate that strategically so that you will not leave yourself behind, not leaving yourself behind in the rug race of entrepreneurship, but leaving yourself behind with yourself, through yourself, and for yourself. Oh, I got to remember to do a checklist. Because with my timers and everything, it's like, oh, I forgot about that. I got to do better with that. And so that is a way, like, that's a distraction, but it doesn't mean it's something that's going to take me off the path. And there are some things that can take you off the path. I can remember when I first at least had the thought that I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something different in helping people. I did not know what that was. And then, I first started off, not first, but one of the things that came up is like, oh, okay, let me be a personal trainer. Went through everything. And then I started going down a rabbit hole on motivational interviewing, and then motivational, and then here I am. That is part of it. But then, in saying all of that, it was pretty much the breakup, crying for 40 days and 40 nights, my parents' medical mayhem, medical mishap, medical mysteries, medical conditions, all of those things in which I'm like, how am I going to do this? And so, and especially when my stepdad, when he had his heart attack, because thank goodness he was there, like definitely for my mom. And for those of you, I'll be talking about that along the way, not today, but if you follow me, especially on TikTok and YouTube, you would definitely get the full story on there. But pretty much what I'm saying is that in that particular instance, even though I was more of a secondary oh, my mind went blank, secondary caregiver, because he definitely took the bulk of that, and he was one of those person, that's so proud, and then he's not going to ask for any help and he's not going to accept any help, so you kind of have to maneuver how you're going to help. And so that was another thing, but especially in when he had his heart attack, because of the fact my mom, she didn't need to be taken care of, but to be looked after, I would say. And so it was more of like, okay, how do I support him? And then also make sure that my mom is taken care of too in that. And along the way, you can really lose yourself. But in saying all of that, like I say, I still had this call. There's still this pull. I would say it's more of a pull than a push. So at that particular time, I really felt like I couldn't go all in. Even though I do wish that I would just say, if I would have known what I know now, I would have approached it different. But what I did, because yoga and meditation, energy healing, and all of those things were newer for me. So I dived deep into that. And I'm so glad I did, because those things really helped me. And that is really the message that I have for you, especially as women, as entrepreneurs. What are you doing? Um, because sometimes you can easily leave yourself behind. And you don't want to do that, because, like, I would not change anything that I did for my parents. But the one thing that I would change, I would have done more of pouring into myself. I did. And I put things in place. And it was kind of one of those things, because I was studying meditation, because I was, in yoga teacher training. Those things really did help me along the way, even though in one sense I was kind of not yoked. The initial going to yoga class, I did that more so for myself, but yoga teacher take training, that was kind of like a dual thing. And so, meaning for myself and how I can help others. And I use more so the philosophy of those things. Now, unless you're like in my circle, then you would get, more of the yoga and meditation and things like that. So what I'm saying is, as a entrepreneur, as a purpose-driven person, woman, as a person with a calling, do not leave yourself behind, because there are going to always be detours. There are going to always be distractions. There are going to always be disruptions. And there are going to be even times in which you may unintentionally disengage with yourself. But let's talk about the disengagement, because disengagement is more so on the internal part of it, because everything else is external, and those things are going to be happening. But because of those external disruptions and distractions and detours, they can lead you to become disengaged, especially within yourself. And this is why it is so important for you to nurture yourself. And sometimes some of you are allergic of being nurtured. It's like you want the nurturing, like for someone else on the outside. No, your soul needs for you to nurture it. Your nervous system is waiting for you to create safety and for you to have emotional capacity. You're the only person who can do that. No one else is. Even when you go to therapy, even when you have a life coach, it is all about you. So, how do you engage? Ooh, ooh. Just had a download there. I'd be loving when these downloads come. But how do you engage within yourself? What are the things that you are doing so that you can stay top of mind with yourself? You're learning all of these business things when it comes to branding and strategizing and all of that. But to be honest, they are parallel with you. They are parallel with you. It's like, okay, let's nurture your email list or nurture the audience that you have. But how are you nurturing yourself? Because if you are not nurturing yourself, you will become disengaged. You will become disengaged. And this is why it is a you. It's for your own universe. That's what you is for. And then for me, is my existence. It's not a selfish thing. It's not selfish at all, y'all. But it's so important, especially by being purpose driven, especially by those of us who have a calling, because of the fact you can feel like that you're being pushed and pulled all towards your calling. But y'all know what? When it comes to that, a lot of it is so that we can like the very thing that we're giving to others so that we can give to ourselves. That is what it's all about. It's so that we can do that. Now, one thing I am going to say, and I've said it before, and I'm going to continue to say it again, even when they say that we're hardwired for connection. I'm not saying that's not true, but I am saying it may not be in the way that we think. It may not be. Because the other thing that I see too is like, I put it like this, like I am naturally an introvert. I really am. And sometimes it can be like too much peeping, even though I love being a therapist and love doing this as well. But it's like that face to face of being in a crowd. Whoo, it's like, oh, wait a minute now. It's like my people temperature. I mean, people, what's the other thing I'm looking for? Sometimes it just runs out. But in saying all of that, generally, I really believe that we're hardwired for connection so that others can be a mirror for us. It's not that of what we see in others that we are like that. It's what we see in others, what we may either um, may need to get better at. Could be some wounds that may need to be resolved, unresolved issues, our wounds. It can show magnificent parts of yourself, but it can also show you where you aspire to go, what characteristic, what attributes that you may need to develop. Because the thing is, especially for those of us, I like to say, for those of us who are spirit minded, who are heart centered when it comes to the business side. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but that is definitely my mountain. So I am using self care so that I can climb that mountain. Same concept. And so I don't want you to become disengaged because of your calling. I don't want you to become disengaged because you are purpose driven. I don't want you to become disengaged because you have a ministry. Because the more that you pour into yourself, then you can be engaged. You know, sometimes I like to say, I'm going to say like the world, like for us women has fed to us that we should be in relationship, we should be married. And I would say, hey, if you find a mate that is willing to pour into you as much as you are willing to pour, oh, I am so happy for you. But before you get to that point, and even sometimes in some interactions, because I'm not going to even call them friendship, but for some of the things that I've seen, and I'm like, Lord, and you're saying we're hardwired for connections? Sometimes people fight harder for the connections that are not good for you, that is not in alignment. So that is how you can become disengaged because you're in environments that is not in align with you, with your principles. What are your principles? What are your values? What do you stand for? How are you advocating for yourself? Are you using discernment? Are you using the wisdom that has come? Because when your nervous system gets revved up, or becomes, you're like, ooh, your skin is crawling around someone. Ugh. Yeah, definitely look into that. Definitely look into that. Because sometimes you are disengaging yourself to be in an environment where you don't even need to be. All because, oh, I want to help everyone. You can't help everyone because everyone is not your cup of tea. Everyone is not your assignment. Everyone is not for your ministry. Even I have to learn that. Even though I still believe if I am blessed, I am a blessing to others, but not just anybody. I had to learn that the hard way myself because I felt guilty of retracting my resources. It was like, hey, I'm disengaging in this interaction. But what I realized was, oh, wait a minute. I'm leaving myself behind by trying to sustain or quote unquote keep my word. You got to honor yourself. Yes, it's important to be able to keep your word, but I'm going to say it depends. It depends. So, what are you doing to remain engaged with yourself? It's like when it comes to women, like the message that we've gotten is for some guy is to be engaged so you can get married. And all of that is wonderful. I've seen it. But it's not okay to be in an environment, whether it's a friendship or business. And I do have something else to say, but I'll leave that for another time. Follow me on TikTok so that you can get what be coming across my mind. But my whole point is this, for you to take care of yourself. The other thing I'm going to say is, y'all, community, community, be in a circle, being an incubator, especially not just the business. And even though I want to say with a lot of businesses, masterminds and in their circles, most of the time they do have something regarding your mindset, but they don't always have something when it comes to the visceral impact of what you're experiencing, even as an entrepreneur. How do you navigate emotionally entrepreneurship? How do you navigate your nervous system? A lot of this is important. If anything that I've learned from my lived experience and by being a therapist is that our thoughts and our actions, we may not have control of what comes to us, and I'm going to say the initial effect, like if we're angry or upset or shocked. But the more that you practice of being well, the more that you are taking care of yourself, it helps. Pretty much in the same sense of for a woman who is pregnant and she exercises regularly throughout the pregnancy, her recovery and getting back to her pregnancy weight is much easier. The same thing if someone, even if they do have to have some surgery, I want to say probably almost of any kind, for someone who has a regular, you know, regimen of exercising and being healthy, their recovery is much better as compared to someone who doesn't. Ideally, we will hope that whatever they're doing, they wouldn't need surgery, but it depends on what they need surgery for. But just meaning the more that you pour into yourself, the more that you nurture your nervous system, recondition your nervous system, and train your nervous system, that is going to help you in your business and in your life. Because life is going to be lifing. And again, there are going to be detours. There are going to be distractions. There are going to be disruptions. But if anything, you do not want to become disengaged because you're the only one who can help with that. You're the only one. Even though you can seek help for others, you can seek help for a therapist, you can seek help from a support group, you can seek help from a life coach. But you're still the one who have to reframe and restructure your thoughts, the way that you're thinking about things, the story that you're telling yourself. You're the only person who can do that. And you're the only person who can take different actions that can change the behaviors, that change the patterns. Because it's our patterns that keep us stuck. And no matter of how smart, of how good of a person that you are, we all can get better. We all can get better. So, what are some of the things that you can do so that you will not become disengaged? One of those things is to sit in silence. One of those things is to be able to take, you know, to look at yourself, to reflect, to review, and ask yourself and be honest. What needs to change? What can you do better? It's not a bad thing, y'all. It's not a bad thing. It's just a human thing. And so, in saying all of that, I've created a circle, Fortitude and Free circle for primarily for female entrepreneurs who is like, I want to be able to embrace challenges. I don't want to run. Because with fortitude in and of itself is to have the courage to navigate, to manage obstacles, adversities, difficulties, and challenges. And embracing challenges, it doesn't mean it's like, oh, well, I'm just so, no. That's not what that means, y'all. That is not what that means. But embracing it to say it is what it is and what I'm going to do, this, that, and the other, or to be able to sit in the discomfort of it and allow the full expression of the emotion. It's almost like the full stages of grief, the full, when it comes to the full phases of change, to be able to sit in the discomfort but still get up, to be able to allow yourself to say, okay, let me do what I need to do so that I can move forward. And to know, because pretty much, again, when my stepfather had his heart attack, because like I said, I was at the beginning stage of all of this. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to help people in a different way. And I wanted to be regarding wellness, regarding self-care. And so what I did is I dived deep into wellness. Pretty much went to, yoga teacher training, meditation training, when it came to energy healing, just exposing myself of learning, of being a participant, going to yoga retreats on a smaller scale, on a bigger scale, pretty much anything yoga, meditation, and especially anything that I can get for free. When they had 3-day conferences and summits and what else? In challenges, probably participated in so many. And I did that, I want to say definitely for about a year or so. That, especially at that time, because at that time, and I was at the beginning stage. I mean, I hadn't even, like I say, I didn't even know what I wanted. I just knew I wanted something. So I hadn't really thought about it in long terms of what I wanted to look like and what I even wanted my business to be. I just had an ideal. And so all of you are at different stages. And so what I'm saying is, too, by me being exposed to different people, it opened a door to somewhere else. It opened so many doors that I would not have even known. It's like one door after another door after another door. And it put me in rooms and tables that I would have never known. But if anything that it taught me is being in community and being in circles. Because you hear conversations, you learn things, and even different perceptions and perspectives regarding the same thing that you're studying, regarding the same thing that you may specialize in. It's like, oh, I never would have known that particular perspective. I would have never thought about it in that way, or to even look at it at a deeper level. And one thing I really do love, oh, I love this so much. Like, for those of you who don't know me, I am a licensed clinical social worker and have worked in different settings. And one thing that I love is, like, I can somebody can get my eye, can get my ear. I was like, oh, what are they talking about? Oh, and I was like, oh, yeah. And one thing that I love, y'all, is for those who have had, have been a therapist, a psychologist, a licensed clinical social worker, and they've worked in the field, or some of them may have just gotten the degree and have become licensed or something, but then they found the other side of wellness. Oh, I love that so much because, y'all, that is where it's at. It's about your well being. When it comes to your mental health, there is that other side of it when it comes to, the disorders, but it's that other part about you living, that you navigate in life with the disorders, but a lot of us are on the spectrum. A lot of us are on the continuum. And so, what are the things that you are doing so that you can continue to be engaged with yourself, engaged with your thoughts, engaged with your behaviors, engaged with your actions? Even when you come into my circle, you still got to do the work. But it is set up so that you can be in a space when you can create your pace. So you won't be all over the place. But you get those nudges to go within. You get those nudges to have rituals. And you get to practice as well. Because I'll say this, anything that you're not naturally inclined, because like for right now, when it comes to business concepts and different things, on that continuum of running a business, it's not even a continuum, the map, the blueprint of all the different things that's needed. In that, I've got to be inside circles. If I'm not inside the circle, at least on outside of the circle, meaning I got a book of the person, I'm following them, on social media, I'm studying them, and now it's the execution part of it. And so it helps you because of the fact I may not be thinking that I'm such a way, but when I hear someone describe what they're struggling with, I'm like, ooh, I did not identify as that, but I always say behaviorally, yeah. Yeah. And so, what are the things that you're doing so that you can stay engaged with yourself so that you would not allow the external things, the detours, the disruptions, the distractions to disengage you? Because it is up to you to keep yourself engaged, to stay connected so you won't be detached. And it takes lots of practice, y'all. It really does. And that is what we do inside the circle. We help female entrepreneurs, especially those who are 40 plus, to embrace the challenges and still rise up. And so for those of you who's like, let me learn a little bit more about this circle, what's going on over there, comment circle, because we want you to stay connected to your calling, but you do that by caring for yourself. Because gone are the days where we're doing all of this. Oh, you got to, I'll put it like this. You don't want to miss the opportunities for yourself, with yourself, and through yourself, because you're always there for others. It's a and. It's a and. As when it comes to the airplane, if there's ever an emergency and the oxygen mask come down, you put it on yourself first. And that's what I want you to do. And this is what we remind women of inside the circle. So I cannot wait to see you all inside the circle. And otherwise, if you're not ready yet, just continue to follow because I'm always dropping some jewels, always dropping some gems about taking care of yourself. It is not selfish, it's necessary.